Hello, welcome back to Pools. We're doing the last chapter, chapter 6. I'm just going to settings. The developers have updated it quite a bit. You can now really showcase the fact that you are looking at through a camera lens. It looks cool, but I couldn't play it like this, I don't think. Okay. I was right. I talked to the developer, and I was right about the houses. So that's based off level 94, which is Eternal Suburbia. So you go through the pool rooms, and the idea, according to the developer, was they just wanted to play around with the players' minds by making out that you go through a tube and you're outside, but you're not really. It was based off Matt Studios. He's found footage number 4. So if you're used to that, I'm still just toying around at the moment. Don't think I can play like this. Another question that's been raised is, who are we as a protagonist? So this is the start. This is how we start the game. Just going to go back and reset everything. You can go barefoot, by the way, which, as I said, some people, for instance, on the Discord, believe that we are one of the statues that we'll come across later on. The problem with that, and another thing they think is, back in chapter 1, we don't fall through, we simply get handed a camera. Now I've had a look at that again, and no, we get off the floor. And every time we get off the floor in this game, we've always fallen down. So I have no reason to believe that we didn't fall down that time. I'm just going to turn the sound up a bit. One of the things I love about this chapter, and that's, I know there's a lot of ceramics and all sorts of weird and wonderful things, but the pool rooms is segmented. Like here we got the back rooms gone back again. And I like that idea. And this is another idea that I really like coming up. There's a chessboard, which is what why we've seen so many chess ideas. We're back in the very first room. That's where we fell down. We fell down that hole down there, but the chair has moved. But we've literally just gone around in a circle. Where we're looking at was lights at one point. So the labyrinth has changed yet again. Now, a lot of people, what I like about this is has really toyed around with the original note idea from S.R. Cunningham. I think it's S.R. Cunningham. Basically that it's a mental state. A state of psychosis that we are in, and we can't get out of it, and we're just going deeper and deeper down. That's possible. As I said, when the Backrooms was invented, there was a big argument as to whether it was a physical place or a mental place or both. Now, the developer said that he doesn't want to answer that. He wants to keep it vague. It's to everyone's interpretation. And there's a good reason for that, because 4 people basically were the principal designers behind this, and each one of them has a different interpretation on what's going on. So there is no, this is a definite reason. Now, when you look at the credits, it says that it's inspired by Jared Pike. who we've talked about. Is an Instagram animator who's done found footage of the backrooms. Mass Studios, who's also done found footage of the backrooms. A game called Animeopolis, I think it's called. Mortain Colors, which I haven't heard about, and he is also an animator of the pool rooms, found footage. And of course, Kane Pixels. Now, I guess some people hate the fact that I've added Kane Pixels into this idea of the backrooms, but in all honesty, I can't see any reason why it couldn't be. Like, I can't see why the Hydrolitus plague isn't really what's responsible here. I can't see why async couldn't be around, or, the keys structure. I really can't see anything that's stopping that. The only thing that does have a problem with it being a literal place is two things. One is, I haven't shown this, is if I was to jump off there, the camera would just rewind back and put me back to a safe place and let me continue, which can't happen if it's a real place. That unless, and this is a big unless if the architect that we meet a bit later on, he has some supernatural ability to be able to do that while watching. But this doesn't seem to be a live stream or anything along those lines. The second problem is when your impact damage on when you fall. Like in level 2, you fall quite a far distance and you wouldn't survive that if you were literal. Now there's the thinking man on the right there. So as I said, some people think that we're statues and everything else. I don't believe so. I don't believe we even turn into a statue. And the reason being is because a couple of things. One, we have footsteps. 2, we breathe. And 3, we sweat. So there's nothing to indicate that we're not human. And everything around us seems to indicate that fact that we're human. So I don't see any reason to believe that we're anything but human. We're definitely not a robot. A robot wouldn't sweat. Or anything else. And here's the other thing, and this is pertinent. Level 37 doesn't have entities. So we can't be an entity. Now, I believe we are related to the architect somehow. That we will see. Now, you get an achievement if you look at that thing. And if you follow all my walkthroughs from level 1 to level 6, you'll get all the achievements too. However, having said that, remember the timid being that we vaguely saw when we turned backwards? That's kind of just fell through level 37, which I thought was interesting. It seems to indicate that entities might be trying to enter level 37, but just can't because of some vibration or something's breaking it up. So I've really enjoyed this. I don't know about you guys. I'm just going to turn it up a little bit more. I've liked the idea of the time-spatial anomalies. And this is interesting. This seems to indicate how rooms are getting cut up and made. Part of the architect design, I guess. As I said, what I like is that there's time anomalies that happen. And I raised the question is what happens, because we know like the prototype that that was in the Kane Pixels videos, Ivan Beck, I think his name, sent. So we know there's little portals through some of the found footages. I've raised the question, well, what happens if your brain walks into a portal and your brain's 20 years in the past and the rest of your body isn't? This game has answered that by saying that once you've hit a pocket or a time spatial anomaly, it engulfs you. So I like that answer. That really does. The other things I have liked about this game is the backrooms arrangement. Now this is where the rooms. Remember we said, well, what happens if the labyrinth changes while you're inside it? And we said you basically get knocked out. This is the exact same place. So this is Eternal Suburbia, and it's in a dark sort of still working. I did suggest also at some point that there's we know that there's a keys. Each area has a key, and when you bring connect the radio to a certain frequency, you'll get the environment of that area broadcast. Now that's very similar to planets. So every planet, when it gets hit by the sun's corona ejection, if you have a receiver picking up the environment, you will get a certain unique environment. And I thought that might be the case that's happening here with the constant pulsatings that are going on, is that each area has its own unique sound, its own unique environment sound, which I think is an interesting theory. Anyway, I like the backrooms, the rearrangement, especially as I said, if you're inside that room. We showed that basically you just become unconscious and you wake up in the room that I guess teleports instead. We saw in level 2 the head of a statue get cut off, so here we got sleeping quarters again, which is interesting. I like the backrooms layout, the illogical Escher maze that this game has suggested. I like the fact that there's constant themed segmented areas, and they're the different levels, so you can just run straight one to the other and back again. That you're not always in the pool rooms, you could be all over the place. That has given it more of an atmosphere. Instead of most games, as I said, they seem to give you one level and only one level of a certain theme, and then you pass that level and you get to another certain theme. This has kind of mashed it all up. We've worked out the point of view is the camera. One thing I didn't realize is that the time clock that you see in level 2 that actually rewinds. So time actually goes backwards in some areas as well. I didn't actually realize that. And level 3, when you fall down the yellow tube, you're on the floor and you hear someone, that actually might be yourself that you come across, because you can't go down the Escher stairs, Escher side from level 5. So you actually might be hearing either an echo of yourself, or you actually come across yourself, which I think is fascinating, given the time anomalies and paradoxes that are around the place. That's something I didn't actually know. Now, the thing with the Hydra Let Us Play is it's not really well documented. It says it has a 16% success rate, survival rate, that there's no cure, but people can be immune to it, become immune to it. Basically, that you got to stay hydrated. It's really not well written. And other areas say that it's not really that dangerous and you probably won't die, you'll just hallucinate quite a lot, which, as we've stated, because the water has a calming effect, even though you're constantly, the hydrolytis plague will cause you to hallucinate things that you fear, and you won't be able to tell, I guess, reality from hallucination. You'll still remain calm during it. Because of the water. The other thing is the water. You'll be able to stay hydrated because the water you can drink. It's only the water in the darkish areas that you can't drink. Now, we said back in level 1, if you're following the achievements, you probably pick up the hydrolytis plague because you're forced into a dark area. And we've been slowly hallucinating. Our psyche has been going downhill ever since. The other thing I'd like to point out, and this is an interesting kind of area. Like we've evidently been spending a lot of time in the back rooms. I think we're an artist, and as an artist, this is where my interpretation, anyway, is that we're an artist. I mean, this is very close to being current because that thing on the floor is actually there on the floor as well. So everything seems to be really current. I think that the protagonist that we're an artist, and that we've just been around here for ages. We're wandering around, and when we enter in level 1, we just fall down because, we've been wandering around. You'll find art galleries and everything around because that's who we are. We could be an artist, and as I said, with the S.R. Cunningham notes, we might just be as an artist in a very delusional state. That is possible. Is the backrooms a disease? Full stop. Another thing I think that and this is just theories I'm throwing out here, that the backrooms could be that, or we can create a linkage. And I don't think this necessarily has to be subconsciously created. I think it's interesting that might have created this linkage without actually doing it on purpose. And as you can see, I've just looped myself here. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the Pastafarians. They're I guess a satirical religion, a fake religion. They were created because back in I think it was 2005, Bobby Henderson, he was appalled at the fact that intelligent design was going to be taught at schools at this, given equal coverage as much as evolution. And so he wrote this satirical note and go, well, if you're going to do that, I would like you to allow us to teach the flying spaghetti monster, because that requires just as much faith and has just as much proof. And you can read his letter anyway. He wrote that the flying spaghetti monster is the thing that's responsible, and thanks to its invisible noodle appendage, it has been messing around with carbon dating. Essentially, remember I said, imagine the back rooms as a plate of spaghetti, that each corridor is a massive noodle. There's a chessboard. We'll come back to that chessboard. And each doorway is a synapse into another noodle. But take away the plate. Imagine a flying bowl of spaghetti. And here we have a sheep. I'm guessing it no-clipped in. Unfortunately, no New Zealand gamer has ever passed this part. They've only got to this far, and they basically just sit down, and this is where New Zealand stops. So I don't want to go any further than here. I'm kidding. But I don't know, Ramsey over there will probably eat you later on because there's not much to eat here. I'm not sure how we're going to start a fire. I guess we have to rub two table legs together or something. But yeah. But if we're actually friends with the architect that we'll meet a bit later, we've probably set up a room or an establishment or a place. Now, this is an interesting thing as well, is that these are sort of mannequin suits. And this is why some people suggest that we're really just some sort of entity in a mannequin suit or something along those lines. What is the reason for that? We don't know. But if you wait around, you'll find something else, and that will give you an achievement as well. But as I said, if you imagine just this big, the back rooms is a big massive ball of spaghetti, and it's the no clipping noodle appendage. Oh, that's it. A swimming pelican or life boy or whatever it is. There you go. Swimming toy. Got this achievement. If you imagine that the no clipping actually messes around with carbon dating, it actually does share a resemblance to the flying spaghetti monster being suggested, that there is some massive flying spaghetti monster with invisible noodle appendage which is messing around with carbon dating. All the YouTube creators, all the Kane Pixels, and has really fleshed that out into reality. Here we have a massive labyrinth of noodle mazed corridors, and the no clipping appendage does actually mess around with carbon dating. I just think that's interesting, joining the two franchises together, which essentially didn't originally have a... And I find it funny that something satirical has a new layer of depth now, if you're going to add some sort of connection there. And I'm not the only one. I've seen other people say, but they talk about the Backrooms monster that Kane Pixels as the spaghetti monster, where I'm actually suggesting the Backrooms is the spaghetti monster. The flying spaghetti monster is the Backrooms. Now, this is where I also suggest that the protagonist is actually an artist. Now, as I said, we could be just... because of the death scenes, the rewind death scenes, we just might be in the mental state of an artist who is going through some traumatic disease which is causing backrooms phenomena. We could actually be going through this might be a literal labyrinth, as I suggest. There we have a cat in the steam room. That was actually in when we slid down tunnel. There's the duck. You'll notice that all the portraits are taken from the Backrooms camera photo as well. Same with that cat over there. I wish I knew what that was. Can't read that. It's hidden. Oh, there's a duck in the background. Maybe these are artist drawings of people that are going through the hydrolytis plague. And so they take the back. But as I said, whatever's in the... And this is where it doesn't make sense. Whatever's in Garfield, whatever's you're suffering with in the hydrolytis plague won't be showing on the Backrooms footage, won't be showing on camera. because it's in your mind. So all that stuff has to be real. Now, when the architect does check the camera, you'll notice that it actually doesn't include any of the moving statues. Now you'll notice here that it's one of the statues actually bent backwards, and it kind of looks like a chair to some degree as well. It's very creepy. Went from a delightful art gallery to what the hell. So there's no guarantee that it's actually of the Kane Pixels universe, but I don't see why you couldn't include it. I guess each to their own. And that's basically what the developer said to me. He said, they don't have a overall consensus of what's actually happening here. So we've got a train that's a bed for some reason. Oh, maybe someone's dying and he feels like he's dying. Maybe in the Hydrolytis Plague you might feel like you're dying and you're on an express train to the Tunnel of Light or whatever. Or you're about to set off on a journey. Maybe that's the... maybe you know you're dying with the Hydrolytis Plague. And there's the statue that we saw before. I guess this is where we come in. And meeting the architect, is that a reference to meeting God because of getting the Hydrolytis Plague? I don't know. It could be surreal like that. You've got a blood vessel here. So it could be the fact that we know we're dying during the Hydrolytis Plague. We've now reached level 3 of the Hydrolytis Plague. And there's little coming back from it. We know that. And the reason why we put the camera down on the table is because we're contagious and we don't want to affect. So we just put it down. I'm assuming that's why. Or it could be symbolic and it's just a symbolic emphasis that we're resting. Is this the Tunnel of Light? Now, the ending I didn't like the ending at first because it really just comes out of nowhere and it really answers nothing other than, well, definitely this is backroom stuff, as there's countless, if you read the books and the videos and the quick shot that you have, you can see heaps of backrooms references. A lot of these rooms and corridors, if you have a look at Jared Pike and Matt Studios and Mortain Colors, and you will see many of... I thought that was the Batman sign there. I was like, that's cool. We're going, I'm Batman. And another reason why we can't be a robot or anything is we're climbing. Maybe, yeah. I don't know why there's mannequin suits, but it could just be because the Hydrolytis Plague gives us in. Now there is some idea that there might be additional content to this game in the future. Will they build from the lore? Oh, I forgot to... I always miss that. And I don't think I can trigger it again coming back. No, sorry. I think it's just the mannequins. And we're going to come across the mannequins. As I said, we came across... And this was this room level 1 or level 2? We've gone back to the same room. So we've literally gone back to where we were in the beginning. except there was a diving board there and a ladder up the top. Got signage saying you can fall. Okay. And we're coming across to the ending now. So I guess I'll might try the the other game, Animeopolis. Okay, here we are. So you're coming across this small maze, and you got to get to a kitchen. Once you come into the kitchen, statues kind of block you in, and they keep following you wherever you're blocked into. Here we go, here's the kitchen. There's the statues. Hello. If you keep facing them, they won't follow you, but you'll still hit the ending anyway. So that frog is one of the ones that we saw achievement. You see in art. Again, I'm pretty sure that we're just an artist. Maybe a chess enthusiast as well. And if that's the case, then we're definitely human. I'm walking backwards so the statues can't follow me. Let's see. See how the statues follow you like that? Okay. So I'm just trying to find out where I am. Okay. I'm going to go backwards. I'm in the water. And there's the architect. And we realise that we've got the Hydrolytis plague. We know we can't go any further. And we've decided we're going to rest. Is this a real place? Is this symbolic? I guess it's up to you. Then it cuts to the architect. Yeah, in the architectural book, you've got level 188.8, which is a pool type area. We've got the architect looking at anatomy, human. And someone's looking at the architect too, and switches off the camera, which seems to indicate that regardless of our best intentions, the architect may have got the Hydrolytis plague as well, which would be very interesting if that was the case. You had the four, so here's your inspirations. Your Jared Pike, your Math Studios, will probably play that game here, and Napaleus or whatever, Mortane Colors, and of course Kane Pixels YouTube videos. Jared Pike is Instagram animator. And just all the thank yous from all the different people that have worked on it. So anyway, I hope this walkthrough has been of some benefit. I hope you've maybe picked up one or two things. Leave in the comments what you think it is. Yeah, I'd like to hear. And that's basically about it. And it just goes back to that. Alright guys, well that's it. I'm going to leave it there. Until next time. Bye for now.